So to help out, I'm just going to give you a little glimpse of what my passion is, which is my family, of course, which I think a lot of people have said that. You'll also see on that bottom right is my husband and son. My son is on the autism spectrum. He's 8-year-old and he's nonverbal. So I bring that up. That's not something I usually tell people, but what has helped me is to understand how people process, understand how not everyone communicates the same, not everyone hears the same. So that has helped me as being a Scrum Master because I can sit back and make sure my team members are giving other people the time to process that information. I was used to, just transition with no breaks, and I have people in my team that are having a hard time with that. So I'm very sensitive to that because I want my son to be in that workforce and I want him to have those opportunities. So I've been very conscious on how people communicate, and it's okay to communicate differently. And if you do, you just have to voice that. Just let your Scrum Master or your leader know. And it's not a problem, it's just that most people don't realize it. I was fortunate it's in my life, so I realize it every day. The other one I wanted to talk about is, I get the question a lot, 3 kids, Summer, how do you do 3 kids? We stopped at 2, I can't do that third. I don't blame you one bit, because my third is quite a firecracker. She's the one with her mouth open there in that top right. And then that bottom left, I was so proud of this picture. My son's smiling, we did family pictures. He has frosting all over his face, that was the reward for doing it. And then you see my daughter, the youngest, the firecracker. I said, baby girl, what were you doing there? Mama, I eat popcorn like a dog. And I'm like, no, how am I gonna use that on my Christmas card? But I did anyway, because this is my life. This is the true story. So I kind of just wanted to share that to help with my nerves, get me a little more uncomfortable with you guys, and to explain that my family life has also helped and has put a positive impact on what I'm doing at Valmont. So Valmont we are in 23 countries, 87 manufacturing facilities worldwide. There's 4 segments in Valmont, and I am currently in the irrigation segment. 10,000 employees global. And the people that I mainly work with for international are the Middle East, China, Spain, Argentina, Australia, and South Africa. Right now I'm really heavy in our Brazil market, so I've had to use a digital board and do some other things to kind of help bring that team together, even if we're not face to face. Okay. So just to give you a little idea, I don't know if everyone's familiar with irrigation and ag, but if you flew here, more than likely you saw an irrigation machine. From above, you'll see the large circles from down below. So on that indicates that there is an irrigation pivot on that field. So this is just a little glimpse so you know what I'm talking about on how to implement this in a manufacturing world. So the end product, which is what I'm showing you here, but what you're not seeing is what this consists of. Every one of these is a custom design. It starts with a 70,000-pound steel coil. We roll that out, we make pipe. It has endless options, mechanical, technical, telemetry, and thousands of parts go into this. We have welding, we have machining, we have fabrication, electrical assembly, galvanizing, and many more. But I'm bringing this up because all of those areas are now on my team. It's not just one, I'm not in IT. This is a non-software Scrum team. Has it been hard? Oh yeah, it's been very hard. So to give you an idea, I am at the Valley campus in Valley, Nebraska. There's 40 buildings. About half of those are manufacturing buildings, 339 acres, and roughly 1,300 employees at my site. So if you don't speak in acres, if you're not used to farming, that means 1.4 million square feet. How in the world am I going to get somebody from one building to walk yards and yards and yards and yards to go to one of my stand-ups for 15 minutes? Because it takes them longer just to do that travel than to actually have the meeting. Okay, so like they said, I've been at Valmont for 22 years. It's no secret. I can tell you guys this legally. I started when I was 10. It's okay. I am 32. So I love this little cartoon. And But when I was making this slide, I had a very hard time because I was trying to define what silos were in my company, how I saw silos at Valmont. And luckily, Sally's template doesn't allow for swear words, so I couldn't put my definition. So I Googled it, and I thought, this is perfect. You couldn't get a better representative of what a silo is. And that occurs when departments or management groups, they do not share information. Their goals or tools, for some reason, they like to hoard that information. I don't know if it makes them feel stronger, or they like to win a battle. I have more information than you do, so now I'm the winner of this. The silo mentality is believed to impact operations, reduce employee morale, and may contribute to the overall failure of a company or its products and culture. I feel that is spot on. So the little cartoon down there made me giggle. I love the crocodile, gonna snap anybody up. But when I visualized silos at Valmont, this is not what I saw. I saw something way more destructive than this. I saw imagining a live grenade throwing over the wall. And I'm not talking like a little ballerina, toss it over. It was a football touchdown, slam that thing down, because I'm never taking that back. My portion's done. It's in somebody else's silo now. It was hard. We saw the silos were protected by the leaders because this is what they're used to. So I can't imagine how we did this for so long. How in the world did we live in silos for so long? Now, if you caught that, I just asked everyone a question and answered the question in one statement. Why did we do this for so long? Because we have been doing it for so long and we didn't know anything different. So in that 22 years, I saw many different management styles come through, many different methodologies come through. I can't even count them all. I tried to name them and I couldn't. But I feel this is the one that's gonna stick. And when I continue, you'll see why. Okay, so now how am I gonna coerce those people out of the silo? I tried dangling a carrot, they throw it back at me. I tried donuts, coffee, anything you can think of. It's just, they're not coming out. I couldn't do this on my own. So I had to start with executive level. We had to get that leadership to get in there to communicate that plan. And I truly believe that a well-built plan that's communicated throughout the organization is gonna relieve some of that anxiety. Because change is scary, and we all heard that, and we all know that. There is fear in change. There's fear of not having those walls. There's fear of not being able to hoard my information. There's fear of being accountable. There's fear of me. They were scared of me, and I don't know why. And I think it's just because of that accountability and making sure there's the follow through. So, and we also wanted to talk about how to adapt Agile in a multifunctional company. And what I mean by that is, with all of those organizations where I talked about welding, I talked about everything else, we had to adjust Agile to fit to us. And that's one of the reasons why I think Agile is so successful, is because we're not pure Agile, and it's okay. We don't have to be pure Agile. Well, you heard waterfall. Well, unfortunately, please don't throw anything at me. I still use a tiny bit of waterfall, but a waterfall to show the project level. And then Agile is in Scrum all the way through to release that project. But the reason we did Agile the waterfall to start off is one thing that wasn't visible is what every department had to do. I had no idea what marketing had to do. I was never exposed to that before. And now they're in my team and I'm learning all of the stuff they have to do. I had no idea what it meant if I changed a date on something or I didn't produce something that was requested, who I affected. So that waterfall just shows me if I move something here, these are all the people that are gonna change. So it's just a very high level, keeping people accountable. If you don't provide your information, this is who you're affecting. And we're all in this room together. So you don't want the stink eye from somebody because you didn't do your part. They also did, they invested in the teams. This was wonderful. They brought Agile transformations in. They did training for us. They taught us what all these things were. I was like the rest. I didn't even know how to spell Agile. But they gave us that foundation. They built that foundation and gave us the skills, gave us the tools. most importantly, they gave us the confidence. They gave us the confidence to implement this within our teams. Because without that, you can have all those skills, you can have all that, but if you don't have the confidence to go out there and put yourself out there and to be uncomfortable, you won't be successful at it. The other thing our executive levels did is they split us into stable and functional teams. A stable team always stays together. We're on all new projects, a scrum master, a product lead, and a tech lead. And then the functional team comes in and out as needed. Now, it's going well, but at first it was tough. There were a lot of hard feelings. I'm in an engineering department. You just split us in half. Now I have engineers thinking, oh, I don't get to work on the new cool stuff. I only get to work on the old things, the stuff we've already had around. And I mean, that was a big thing for them. They went to school, they did all their training to create new inventions, and now they're moving over into a functional role. They didn't see the big picture at that time that neither team can exist without the other. Neither team can live without the other one. So once we get that, we started talking more and getting more people involved. It helped. It built more of a family, more of a resource, and gave you that tribe of people that you can go to for knowledge. The continuous support after implementing the methodology. So one thing our executives do, our leadership team does, is every Monday they come and do a walk around. I call it the wander around, and they go to the 7 teams. We have 7 teams of either functional or stable, and all of the VPs and everyone comes around to each room. It's less than an hour, and it is extremely, extremely valuable because we get to talk a very high level of what we accomplished, what's holding us up, and what we plan on doing. But what's holding us up was usually one of them. But they didn't know that because they never saw that visibility. So then they could get a line right there all together. One leader is telling us to do something, this is the hottest thing. Well, there's a fire over here that another leader wants us to work on, so we have to move over to that. But now they're together and we can explain we didn't get this done because we were over here for this person. Those guys can talk about it right in the room, get the alignment, and then we can keep moving. There's no delay. There's no waiting for a meeting, waiting for emails. It's right there on the table. So even if they don't have an interest in what we're releasing, depending on what area they're in, they still showed up because they were supporting us. They wanted to show that they saw a difference in Agile. They saw a difference in what we were doing, and they wanted that continued support, so they were at these meetings. That has been absolutely wonderful. We also do a leadership where we have the president, we have everybody in there, and we do a quarterly update with them also. Allow them to ask questions and just gain that alignment again. And then we do demos. The demos are very helpful, and demos are nice in our facility because I'm not able to release just a piece of my new product. I have to release the whole product. So if I'm developing a new span, I can't release just couplers, or I can't release just a flange. I have to release the whole thing. So to do the demo, I schedule those separately from the wander-arounds because there's times where I have to drive them out to the field so they can see these things. But for them to see it, to touch it, to see it in action, help them understand. And if anyone came into our company and asked what this new product was, you got the same story throughout the whole division, through the president, vice president, down to me, the scrum master. Everything was on the same story. Then we started utilizing what we call our Valmont University, and to continue that training. So Agile Transformations came in, they trained all of us, but now they trained a circle of us, a group of us. We have 1,300 other people that still needed trained. So it's part of our onboarding now, it's part of new employee that it's required to go through this training. So it's online, it's interactive, you have a test after it and you have to pass, or you have to retake the test or talk to me. But it's been good. Okay, so Agile in action. As you see, I'm on multiple teams, and right here is 2 pictures, and you'll notice that everyone in the yellow coats are my production workers. So I'm going to show you one more map, this map here. How am I going to get that guy from all the way to the end, that building that has a red roof, all the way across the street to the other side. In this picture, it looks pretty, but they have to walk over in the snow, in the rain, in the heat. This is Nebraska, so it's negative below, it's 110, it's windy, we have all the weather. How am I going to get them to do this? So how I did that is I had to prove to them it's going to work, and I had to adopt to the teams. I rolled out with Jira. These are guys that on the shop floor, they don't have the luxury of having laptops or tablets or anything. They have a terminal to check their work in and out. Now, how do I get them in there? They loved these these boards. They got to see something, they got to touch something. And Sally's team was really big on start at the bottom, do the basic first. Start here and perfect this. We must have gotten a little too good at it because I can't get them to change over to Jira now. So there are some teams that are on Jira, but still they love these physical boards. And that's okay. I love them too, because if they're being interactive and they're walking over in the snow just to do this little 15-minute meeting, I'm all for it. So things that we learned. Communication was big. Keeping that visibility with everyone. The job and the task dependency, that's our physical board. The retrospectives. One of my personal goals that my supervisor has given me is that at every retrospective, have one thing positive that I can do for the team. One thing I can change. It might not just be team, it could be the process, it could be anything, but have an improvement that I can physically make. So now I get to log those things, and I get to, some of them fail, and you know what, I'll just try something else. But we just keep doing that. So we're not just sitting there going over what went well, what didn't go well. We're physically, actively looking for something we can change. The accountability, that face-to-face made a huge difference, an extremely huge difference. The tasks are visible, impediments are visible, and there's that positive pressure from your teammates, which was nice. You needed that positive pressure so that kept you accountable and wanted to get your tasks moving on, because another person wasn't going to be able to work on theirs until I finished some portion. So that positive pressure was good. The applications for manufacturing, the excess inventory reduction, cross-functional ability, accountability for tasks, and quicker turnaround. And engagement. This is my favorite part of it. As you, once you get to know me, that you'll see that I'm a person that feeds and lives off of emotions. That's where I excel. Telling my feelings, telling you how things go. So the physical board I already mentioned, team members interact, the pride and completion, the encouragement, and some of our early struggles was, and it's still a struggle, is sizing tasks. So again, I work with engineers. It's either in or out of dimension. It's either in or out of tolerance. There is no estimating. So to get them to size their tasks has been terrible. And I still work with that one because they just don't have that mindset. So I have to learn to address things in different ways and present them in different ways, but also making sure that all my teams are consistent throughout the company. Lack of vision for completion, and that's when we decided to bring that high-level waterfall. And we don't update the waterfall. Once we show it one time, then it's done. And that's just to give everyone that high level of what that vision is. And the tasks across the department. Just seeing what everyone else does was amazing. So I know I went really fast through this because I am very nervous. But my favorite story I wanted to tell is with all of these teams, so when I talk about manufacturing, and I'll go back if I can. Okay, the guy up there in the yellow, holding his chin, he's in the corner. This is how he told me why he liked this, why he walks over in the snow. Because I no longer have just handed a print and said, make this. I never knew what it did. I never knew what it was for. I never knew the benefit, the value to it. And now I do. Now I know what it's for. So we talked about getting that employee engagement, building that power in them, that pride into them. So that's what we're doing here. So imagine going home every day and your job, your task was to build this part. go build it. You don't know what it is. How boring. It would not be rewarding for me. And now he's told what it is because we have this huge team. He knows what it does. He goes home and his daughter asked him, "What'd you do today?" "Well, let me tell you. I know what I did today. I know what I did to make a change to this company." So that was a huge thing for us. The team positivity went straight up. So that was 2 years ago. And 2 years ago is when we did our first project. And I asked him just recently how he still felt about it, because he still comes to other product releases and he sees the benefit in it, and he's not going to stop coming. None of these guys are going to stop coming because they know what they're doing. They know what the reason behind it is. So to have somebody say that, to go to their family and say, "Look what I was a part of. Look what I did. I was a piece of this, because without me, this would have never have happened." So I wanted to end on the video, the story that I'm telling you when we did this product release. Marketing, they don't just do a brochure. That's all I thought they did. They do videos and all different kinds of things. So and we sat together and we demoed with each other. So marketing would bring stuff in. Manufacturing would bring parts in and ask, "Is this how you want it laid out? Let's look at it together." They tried to get me to wire something. Ooh, that did not go well. But at least I could see the difficulty in it. Because they come to you asking, "How are we supposed to wire this?" I'm like, "Well, yeah, you guys have these banana hands. I don't know how you're going to get in there." So let's make those changes now before it's released and before we release it to the production floor.
When we in Agile create a team of teams plan that goes across multiple teams, what do we call that plan? It's a program board. Mm-hmm. Is Summer using Agile when she creates a program board that manages the work across multiple teams? Summer, you are 100% Agile, my friend. You are not using waterfall. You are certified as an Agilist.
I cannot wait to go back and tell them.
Yes, you are. You can go back now and you can let them know.
Yep.
You have no more leftover waterfall. That is called a team of team program board. And actually what you're starting to do is what we call a value stream, which is you're bringing all of the right teams that end to end generate a business outcome. So you're like ahead of the crowd, girlfriend. Good, amazing job. Can we get a big hand of applause for Summer? Yes.